Do you think it's an unreasonable standard for a guy to not want his girlfriend to post revealing photos or to go out to parties, bars, clubs, or to wear, I suppose, revealing clothes? Do you think that's controlling behavior, or is that a reasonable boundary?
It's a boundary, definitely, unless you're with someone who likes to do these things. And you try to change it, because that's just not going to work. It's toxic.
Well, I mean, don't we all isn't that the nature of relationships? Like, okay, you're single, you're operating one way, now you're in a relationship, you're no longer operating in the way you used to operate. So conduct that would be acceptable when you're single is no longer acceptable when you're in a relationship. Case in point, sleeping with multiple people at the same time. This is, well, it's not cheating if you're single to sleep with multiple people at the same time. But in a relationship, this would be considered cheating. And so, well, what other kind of behavior could be considered undesirable or cheating in a relationship that might not be when you're single?
Oh, how do you mean?
Well,
what's cheating when you're in a relationship?
So, for example, like when it comes to posting more revealing photos, prior to dating, a man might not have a problem with her engaging in what he considered single behavior. But once they started dating, he wanted her to act in a way that he thought was consistent and commensurate with being in a relationship. And I mean, literally all boundaries are a form of control. That's what a boundary is, drawing lines around behaviors that you don't want your partner to engage in. So, how about this? I think I asked a question that I wanted to open up to the panel, but controlling or reasonable boundary?
For the situation?
Yeah, so not wanting to post revealing photos, not dressing revealing, and I guess, what was the other one? Not going out to bars or clubs?
I feel like it's definitely reasonable to have boundaries. But if you're dating someone,
are those specific boundaries, are they reasonable from the guy's perspective, or do you feel like generally they're controlling?
Well, I feel like in a relationship you should have the freedom to do whatever you want within like having boundaries.
What do you mean doing whatever you want within having boundaries?
Like you should feel like you can be yourself.
But how can you do whatever you want if you have boundaries?
Be yourself.
Well, everyone should have boundaries.
But those two things
But you
don't
shouldn't
make
date
sense.
someone
That's a
that you
contradiction.
want to change. And she's probably posting the same videos before they were dating. So if you see that, you probably shouldn't
Wait,
date
but
someone
hold on.
like
You say
that.
women shouldn't date people, or you shouldn't date people you want to change. Isn't that like the genesis of what women do to every single man that they date?
Some girls
I can
do,
fix
I
him.
don't.
I can fix him. He will change.
But that
Isn't that
never
what
trying to
women
always
do
work.
with every guy they date? Don't you guys like a project?
No, I'm tired of doing
You don't
work.
right? But you did it in your
I
past,
work
right?
for a living.
Going around the table though, reasonable boundary or controlling, insecure?
I do have to say, I wonder how, did you do the TikToks before you started dating and all of that? Or was it something you started doing when you were dating? Because I think that might be, it's controlling if you were already doing that and he liked you when you were doing that. And then when you started dating after a year, it became a problem, even though you've been doing that all along.
So they were together for 3 years, so you would have started when you were dating, right? Started doing the TikToks?
I had already started before.
Before?
Yeah, even when we were like talking or whatever.
Were you dating other guys before you started dating him?
No.
Were you talking to other guys ever before you started dating him?
I talked to like one guy before him.
Did you stop doing that when you started dating him?
Did I what?
Did you stop doing that when you started dating him? Did you stop talking to other guys?
Yes.
Would that be a boundary?
Yes.
So why does it matter if they're doing it before?
Isn't it the most important that the boundaries match in a relationship?
What do you mean boundaries match?
Match, like, for example, I'm in a relationship for 4 years, so I'm no longer talking to other guys, I'm no longer kissing other guys or sleeping with them, only with my boyfriend. That's a boundary that he wants, and I respect that. It's a good match. But if my boyfriend would say, I don't want you to be a Twitch streamer anymore, then that's my work, that's my hobby, that's my passion, then it wouldn't match. Then the relationship would just not work. So
Yeah.
I think you have to find...
You play games on Twitch, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you do it with your boobs out?
No.
Okay,
I
well
mean, depends what you call boobs out, I guess.
I mean, can I see your cleavage?
I wear this dress also on Twitch.
Do you have a lot
and
of-
sometimes a shirt.
Do you have a lot of men in the chat sort of...
Oh yeah, but they most of them also know my boyfriend because we have meetups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't really know anything about Twitch gaming. I've never been on Twitch myself, so I don't really know how that works. But sure, if it's your work and everything, then as long as it's not like a thirst trap. But this is like a thirst trap, what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
and that should be off limits when
but
you're in a
it's like,
relationship.
depends because it's about the boundaries matching. I mean, there's also girls with that have boyfriends that are completely
So
fine
when
with
you
that.
say the boundaries match, does that mean that my boundaries have to be commensurate with what she thinks she can do?
If you, I mean, you should talk about it.
But like,
you have to
what if I have a boundary that she doesn't think is reasonable?
Then I'm not sure if it's a great fit for the relationship. And of course, sometimes you have to
I
compensate.
think that we can all agree that if you're dating a girl who won't stop doing the TikToks, then you should break up.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend should have broken up with you the first conversation if you the next day went and posted another
because
TikTok.
it doesn't match.
100%.
Exactly.
He should have
Yeah.
broken up with you. But we're arguing about the merit of the boundary and whether it's a reasonable boundary.
Sometimes it is completely fine to compensate and, for example, say, well, okay, I really like doing these TikToks,
Yeah.
but you don't like it. I really like you. I will stop doing them. But
What
if
do
she
you
wants
what do you think your boyfriend would say if you tomorrow started posting TikToks of you with showing some and
He would laugh so hard.
mumbling some Chris Brown?
he would probably be very worried.
But what do you think he would honestly think if you started
He would be
doing that?
worried
Yeah.
because that's
Why?
not something I would do
Why would
because
he
I
be
don't
worried?
like that. Because he knows me for 4 years.
And
If
do you think that it doesn't really match your character to be doing that sort of content?
No, I don't think so, no.
Okay. So do you think that would be a reasonable boundary if he said, "Hey, listen, I don't want you doing those videos"?
I mean, it's hypothetical. I don't know because I can't imagine.
I'm saying that, but put yourself in the hypothetical for a second. Do you think that would be a reasonable boundary?
I mean, I do cosplays as well, so I guess maybe if I would
So he's got bigger problems
have
than-
one that has more out and he would say, hey, I don't feel comfortable with that, I might not wear that cosplay anymore. But if I really love the cosplay, then maybe I will keep wearing it.
Well, I mean,
don't know.
I think that I can't think of a point of doing TikToks or anything like that, cosplay, whatever, yourself, that isn't for male attention.
Oh,
for
but cosplaying
for whatever the
isn't
reason,
sexualizing.
maybe for your Twitch streaming. I mean, how much of your audience is male?
I don't know,
80,
60,
90%?
70%.
Probably more than that, I'd say, because it's gaming.
Oh no, there's a lot of girls in gaming as well.
Is there?
Yeah.
I guess
I am a girl in gaming,
they're all
for
hiding.
example. Yeah. No, I have a lot of girls in communities and mothers, and it's very, community based.
Cool. Well, I haven't seen your
Yeah.
twitching, but yeah, I'm sure it's very wholesome with the cosplay.
Selena, what do you think? Reasonable boundary or controlling insecure?
I mean, if it was to the point where she felt she had to break up, like it was obviously on his end, like there should be some compromise just because, especially if she was already making the videos before they were dating, why all of a sudden would it be an issue for him? And like, why would he date her if it was such a big problem for
Because
him?
they're dating
he
now.
never,
You do things differently when you're in a relationship as to how you act when you're single.
right? But in that context, he didn't break up with her over it. So.
I know he should have.
Right, so it's kind of on him. If it's that big of a deal, then just don't date that person for him.
Agreed. Yeah.
So
definitely should have broken up with her. Yeah.
if it was an issue for him, I mean,